All right, folks, good morning. All right, first, let's take a look at the economic data for today, Friday, August 25th. And we have the following at 10 o'clock Eastern. We've got revised U of M consumer sentiment, and we also have revised U of M inflation expectations at 10:05 a.m. Chairman Powell will be speaking, so that's going to be extremely important. 11 a.m. FOMC member Harker speaks. And also 11:30 a.m. FOMC member Harker speaks. All day we'll have the Jackson Hole Symposium at 12:30 p.m. FOMC member Goolsby speaks. At 2 p.m. FOMC member Goolsby speaks as well. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern, although this is in Europe, we'll have ECB President Lagarde speaking, which should have some impact on our market. So this should be a very eventful day. We have, with the FOMC Chairperson Powell speaking, that should have some major impact. So at 10 o'clock, all the way until maybe 12, we should have a lot of impact. And then any information that comes out of the Jackson Hole Symposium throughout the day should also have an impact as well. So should be a busy day. All right. As far as the market yesterday, it was clearly very bearish. This is one of the stronger trends that you'll see in the equity indexes. So sharp move down, which means that for the most part, stocks that were bearish were where most of the opportunities were found. All right, now as far as what was actually trading yesterday that did well, let's take a look. All right, now on the positive side, we have VFS, which was able to trade from an opening price of about $39 to a high of 57.80. So that's VFS. Zion Bank also had a pretty quick move up at the opening of the session. It was easily able to get past target number one, which was 34.95, and it got about 2/3 of the way to target number two, which was 35.77. But it topped out 35.47 instead. Let's see. Okay, sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Next up is Rivian, which was able to reach target number one to the downside of 1965, and then that was it. Then we had Tesla, TSLA, which was able to reach target number two to the downside very quickly, which was 228.70. Then we had Mara, which was able to reach target number two to the downside of 1083, and then it went significantly beyond that. Mara was down over 10% at roughly at the close. Yeah, by the time it got to the close, it was down about 10%. AMD fell like a rock. It went far beyond target number two. Target number two to the downside was 106.76. AMD went over double the distance to that and bottomed out somewhere around 101. So this probably was the biggest single trend as far as the magnitude of the move. Affirm, AFRM, also was bearish. It has jumped up now after earnings, which came out after hours, but during yesterday's session was bearish. Reached his target number one of 13.99 very quickly, got about halfway to target number two, and then reversed. Another massively bearish stock was Marvel. Marvel crashed through its target number two to the downside of 60.96 and then continued to go down to where it also went about double the range that was anticipated by the target number two. and it had earnings, and it's dropped even farther. Okay. Um, Next up is Palo Alto, PANW. That also greatly exceeded its target number two to the downside. 232.13, it went also about double the distance lower. So also a very strong move down. Next up is NVIDIA, which was also able to make a strong move down. It hit target number two to the downside of 476.49. And then we had Microsoft, which also was able to greatly exceed its target number two to the downside of 325.44. It also went about double the distance down from what it was from the target. So as I mentioned yesterday, we had some very strong bearish trends. And basically, as long as you focus most of your attention on that direction of the market, the opportunities were plentiful. And most stocks that you pulled up were definitely moving lower. Some, of course, the ones I just showed you were the strongest performers. And provided that, again, you continue to focus your attention in that direction, then things would have worked out pretty well. If you were doing the opposite, then, of course, you got run over by the market. So hopefully most of us traded in the direction of the trend. Now, as far as my pre-market scan, it does not look like there's a lot of activity, at least not on my list. First up, I have is BETR, which was up 6%, and is up 6%. 14 million shares traded, and is trading it at above $1 per share. Of course, it's a Nasdaq stock. This was on our list yesterday, so we'll go ahead and add it again today. BETR is now back on our list for this morning, pre-market, of course. And also, I see another stock, RETO, which presently does not qualify. It's not down enough. You can see that yesterday it had a catastrophic decline. Must have been some bad news. As you can see, it just dropped, lost the vast majority of its value in the same day. So this one I'll put as a possibility, but currently it's at the same price it was at yesterday's close. Trading 1.6 million shares at $1 per share. So I'll put that as a possibility, but not on the list since it doesn't qualify yet. So RETO. All right, so we're looking for NASDAQ stocks. They have to be a NASDAQ listed stock. It has to be at least $1 per share right now. Also, right now in the pre-market, it must trade at least 1 million shares of volume, and it must have a price change of at least 6% positive or negative. So if you see any stocks that meet those criteria, let me know. See, Darren put in YS and CRKN. YS is up 77%, 9.7 million shares, trading above $1, and it's a NASDAQ stock. So that does qualify. So we will add YS to our radar. And you also mentioned CRKN, and that is up 10%, over 10%, 1.2 million shares traded. It's above $1 per share. It's a NASDAQ stock, so that also qualifies. Okay, so we'll add CRKN to our radar as well for the pre-market. Thanks, Darren. If you folks see any other stocks, like Darren saw, that are above $1 per share, NASDAQ traded stock, or NASDAQ listed stock, I should say, trading at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume. So that's the number you should see up at the right when you check out the stock. And you should also see that it's up or down at least 6%. So as long as the stock meets all four of those criteria, and of course, please double check that they do, then go ahead and let me know in the chat. We'll take a quick look. So again, any other NASDAQ stocks, we currently have BETR, YS, and CRKN. If you see any other stocks on your screeners that meet these criteria, NASDAQ traded stock that's at least $1 per share currently. Also, it needs to have at least 1 million shares traded in this current pre-market session and has a 6% positive or 6% negative or greater change in price. So if you see any stocks that meet those criteria, please let me know in the chat, other than the ones we've already found, and then we'll go ahead and take a look. I run a scan on Thinkorswim pre-market. Some others here are using other services like FinViz, where I'm assuming they're paying for it. So basically, you would have to run some sort of scanner. So it could be from your brokerage platform. It could be from a third party, um, like um, like FinViz or something like that. So yeah, you would have to have a scanner of some kind, Steve, that you're using. Yep, TOS, you should be able to do it. The scans, well, if you're not finding that it's working, I'm not sure why. Um, Now, mine personally, I can program a Thinkorswim, so I've programmed it to do a scan. But yep, we already have BETR, YS, and CRKN. So any other stocks that meet our criteria, let me know in the chat. So you may not be able to, if you're using Thinkorswim, when we're in the coaching room, I can direct your attention to where to get a scan in the coaching room. All right, folks. We'll go ahead and wrap up the pre-market pulse then for this Friday, and I will see you folks on Monday. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're rapidly getting close to that 3,000 subscribers mark, so thank you, everybody. Please make sure, if you haven't subscribed already, to make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Of course, you'll have to have a YouTube account to do that. Just set one up for free, and then you can go ahead and subscribe. Also, be sure to like the video. And if you happen to be watching this broadcast or a replay of it, and you're not part of our program, be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link to that in the description of this video. Otherwise, for those of you in the coaching program, I'll see you in about 25, 26 minutes or so. Okay? All right, folks, have a fantastic trading day and have a good weekend also. And I'll see everyone on Monday for the next pre-market pulse. Take care.